Welcome to Negotiation Tactics, NCR522. This is one of my favorite courses, one of your skill courses, and most of our graduates, alumni say that the skills they learn in our program make a difference in every aspect of their life, personal and professional. And this is deeply gratifying, as you can imagine. But I'm also aware that to learn these skills takes practice in a variety of contexts. And if you are intending to be a professional negotiator with negotiation as a regular part of your life, for example, someone who does hostage negotiations in the police force, or someone who is representing labor or management in collective bargaining. You need practice of each one of these skills and the steps of these skills in the fire of actual conflict. Now, this course will be an introduction to what we call and what Harvard Negotiation Project has made quite popular win-win negotiation or integrative bargaining. It is very different than the positional arguing or distributional bargaining that I will introduce next week. And I will take time then to start to explain the differences. What I have found, though, in teaching integrative bargaining over the years, over 20 years actually, at several universities, and over years of my own practice as a former litigator and also someone who had a full-time conflict resolution consulting, training, and mediation practice before being asked to teach, is that these skills truly do make the difference in a wide variety of situations. And I was just describing to my undergraduate students on campus, even in a going postal mediation I was asked to do years ago, where the person who had been terminated after years of employment truly did struggle with mental illness. A former vet who had served our country, who had a terrible love of weapons and guns. And we were able to use these tools to diffuse a very volatile, polarized situation. So these skills really work. Now, the challenge in teaching you these skills online is that even though you are learning online NCRP in our online program, most of you want the opportunity to practice these skills with real people, real live situations. And so what I do in this course is I give you most weeks skill development activities that will help you become thoroughly introduced and begin to practice each of these skills. Today, what I would like to do is review your syllabus with you. And I trust you have already found it under your Blackboard content tab, that you have printed it and read it more carefully, line by line, more than once, that you're starting to mark it up, and that you're prepared to review it every week of our course. As I say in every course, this is our contract for the course. So it is vital that you become thoroughly familiar with it, return to it whenever you are editing and preparing graded work. And when in doubt, go back to it. You will find there is a calendar with weekly readings and topics, and most of the answers to questions are found here. Now, that said, I know some of you struggle with reading and digesting and referencing a thick syllabus, and you are always welcome to send me an email or call me during office hours to get some clarity and some personal contact. Right now, I have the first page of your syllabus in front of me. I have relied on you to take the initiative with sending me your questions, any confusion. Occasionally, there is a typo here. I keep these syllabi active and organic. They are changed most semesters in response to student evaluation and feedback. And so I am constantly editing, changing, adding. If there are some errors, please let me know. I really appreciate that. Okay, on the first page, what you will find, most importantly at the very top, is my name, my email address, my telephone number on campus, and my office hours this semester. What I recommend, I'm not normally on campus unless I'm teaching a class or holding office hours, so that you reserve your phone calls for when I'm here on campus, and otherwise send me an email. If I receive the email, I have a practice of responding within 24 hours, 7 days a week. If you do not hear back from me within 2 days, for example, I would encourage you to write me again. Occasionally, I don't receive email. After this, and I say with my office hours, the time, but also by appointment, because I'm well aware that you are in various countries around the world and you're in different parts of the United States with different time zones. Please schedule a phone appointment or a Skype appointment, whatever works best for you, at your convenience. I will do my best to accommodate that. Now, I also encourage you and lay out some of my practices in this first page. I'm not going to read this line by line. Please do, if you haven't, and let me know if something's not clear. I will be available to respond to questions and particular interests at times in new lectures. But generally, I tape these lectures in advance of your course, and I highlight what I see as the most important topics. Now, there is 1 week when I'm going to ask you to view the HBO documentary Boycott, which is on the early beginnings of the civil rights movement. And I ask you to do this because the way Dr. King is portrayed in this particular documentary is a wonderful introduction to the best of negotiation in the face of the nastiest of tactics. And it also will introduce you to what we call the best alternative to a negotiated agreement, when you must walk away from a negotiation to get your needs and interests met. Except for that week, generally I will have a lecture that you will be able to view every week. And once again, I welcome email, questions, posts in your groups, your discussions about that week's reading or whatever activities I'm having you do. Okay, this first page continues at the very end with prerequisites and a course description. Now, we are not able to handle actual case studies of all these different types of negotiations among individuals, institutions, societies. For example, it talks about planning and conducting personal, corporate, labor, hostage, and diplomatic negotiations. That's cross-cultural, ethical, and historical dimensions. We cannot include case studies of all these different possibilities. But as you'll see later in the syllabus, if you want to create a case study for a simulation practice of, for example, a hostage or a diplomatic negotiation, a labor management negotiation, you are welcome to do that, and I will credit it. What I can assure you regardless is that the skills you're learning here work in all of these situations. The most masterful of hostage negotiators, for example, practice these skills. The same with diplomatic negotiations. Labor management, collective bargaining is its own world. So oftentimes, sadly, what I hear is management frowns on and blocks integrative or win-win negotiation at the collective bargaining table. It sticks to positional win-lose, which generally focuses on what we will call a fixed pie of money and resources rather than addressing other needs and concerns. But overall, these skills will serve you well wherever you use them. Now, I have an important note. I'm now on the second page of the number of hours that generally our distance students spend digesting the material, doing the reading, doing the learning activities, posting in group discussion, otherwise excelling in the course. And for most of you, if you're fully employed, if you're parents of young children, taking only 1 or 2 of our courses at a time works well. Hurrying through our program, I mean, some students are able to do it because they're only seeking to pass a course. And they have been able to simply pass a course. But they have not been able to excel unless they're able to invest more time. And I would say, from my own professional life experience, learning these skills and starting to master them will serve you much more than focusing on just getting a degree, a graduate degree, and focusing on GPA. In my career, no one has ever asked to see my transcript, and I did extremely well in graduate school. I excelled, graduated with honors. I wish they would ask to see it. And they're not that interested in degrees. Many, many people have advanced degrees right now in our culture where we live in highly competitive times. But if they sense that you actually know how to do something that will make a real difference in their lives, and they can trust you to add value, which these skills do, then they will definitely be interested in you. So I frankly would recommend you focus more on learning the skills than worrying about your GPA, or certainly hurrying through the degree. I do appreciate there are complications with financial aid at times, and I certainly will do everything in my power to support your best, given whatever constraints you're operating in. The required texts are listed next in the middle of page 2, and they're all based on the Harvard negotiation project materials. They're classic Getting to Yes, the easiest read in our program, but don't let the easy read be deceptive. You can take one line at a time and try to practice those lines, and it will advance your negotiation skill dramatically. The workbook is even more powerful if you take the time with the different worksheets to actually practice these tools with your real-world conflict, whether at home or at work or in the community. You may be stunned, as some of my clients have been stunned, to see how powerful deceptively simple tools can be. Next follows the course goals, objectives, and requirements. The learning outcomes are the most important in my classes. If this is your first class with me, I use these learning outcomes to grade every piece of graded work, whether that's your weekly posting discussion or one of your graded papers. So I hope you too get in the habit of using these learning outcomes to edit and improve your work. If you do it line by line, give yourself that time before submitting your paper via Turnitin, I can almost assure you that you will earn more points. Simply actually carefully proofreading your writing and correcting it, working with a tutor on campus or elsewhere, using spell check can help you earn more points. I try to give you these tips up front so that you can do your best, meet your goals. Okay, I am turning to page 3, and what's in the middle of page 3 is a way that all of you can make up participation points. I know some of you travel. Of course, some of you may have medical or other personal emergencies. If you are keeping this social justice journal and considering how you are engaging, perhaps even negotiating social justice concerns and situations, and throughout the semester, and then you turn it in to me at the end, I will use that journal and its evidence of your learning negotiation tactics to give you make-up participation points. So that's available to you. I encourage you to watch televised and other debates. Any attempt to influence you, whether it's our president, a congressman, a senator, a journalist, because persuasion is core of effective negotiation. And you're each going to get an opportunity to attempt to persuade us in this course. And then you will be given feedback to help you identify your particular persuasive negotiation strengths. Invaluable. That's just one of your small group activities during the course. End of page 3 starts to introduce how you earn weekly participation points. And I take this very seriously because most of you report that your group work with each other and the relationships you build with each other is one of the most valued parts of being in our program. Of course, if you're not able to be online with your classmates early in the week because of other constraints, demands, I would encourage you to communicate with your groups. You will be assigned groups early on in the course. Let them know when you're available. Now, if you want to earn full participation points, one tip, don't wait till the last day of the week to post. Because you're not taking the time to review your group members' postings. You're not taking the time to discuss what you're reading and learning with each other. Doing that is what earns full participation points. Okay, I'm now on page 4. I don't need to go through everything, but your journals and your nomination of best analysis are going to be your graded papers, your graded Turnitin papers. And what I will emphasize is demonstrating what you're learning in the course. Integrating the reading, showing me how you actually are taking time to reflect and apply the learning in the course. Whatever you can do to demonstrate your best learning will earn you the most possible points. When we are closer to the weeks when these are due, I welcome questions. We can discuss them again. The nomination is just like the journal in that I want the focus to be on your learning from the class. Don't just nominate a classmate's best analysis and leave the rest of the pages blank. I need to credit based on learning outcomes and course learning. Okay, if you turn to page 5, you will see the actual grading scale for the course. And I want you to study it because every semester I have a student freak out when they earn half of the points that they can earn on a paper. And they've actually passed the course with that. That earns a B. But they're used to an undergraduate grading scale, and they haven't studied the one here. So please, make it your friend. The grading rubric at the bottom of page 5 also shows you how I will assign points. And if you follow it with everything you prepare, you should be fine. Okay, page 6 goes on to talk about specific ways to earn participation credit, that you are graded on quality versus quantity of participation, and then the policy that due dates are firm. Grades will be lowered a level for every day late. If you happen to have a problem with Turnitin, please email me your paper and let me know. I'll post a late Turnitin, and I'll count your paper as timely if you've sent it to me when you're having problems. Okay, the last few pages of the syllabus are your weekly reading and topics, and you will find most weeks the learning skill development activity, learning activity for that week. I think it's all very clear-cut. The reading is usually to be done the week it's listed, to be discussed the following week, but I'm not very strict or rigid about any of this. I will certainly credit you when you're able to do it. I do not credit late posts. I don't even go back and look at them. So your focus, if you are late, is to go into the current week and show your best understanding, knowledge, participation there. Okay, due dates for all of the graded papers, the journals and nominations are listed week to week. I think it's pretty complete, maybe a little overwhelming, but I'm really looking forward to this class with you. I'm committed to helping you evolve, advance your negotiation skills. Have a great week.